Cryptocurrency is hard to ignore. Its total transaction volume grew to 15.8 trillion in 2021. That is up more than 500% from 2020. It's no longer a question of if it will be used in local state economies. It is a matter of when.
Now here in Colorado, that when begins this summer. And tonight, Denver 7's Bayan Wang takes us 360 on Colorado's attempt to lead the way in the race to set the standard for crypto.
I put about $25,000 into crypto, and since then I've traded it up to about $600,000 as of today.
These kinds of videos are all over the web.
I've earned about $80,000 in profits.
Average people making huge returns from investments in cryptocurrency.
I became a millionaire in just 1 year.
While others have lost millions.
I personally lost over $2.2 million worth of Bitcoin.
It's not a surprise. Cryptocurrency is a very volatile digital currency. It's not regulated by the government or any federally insured bank. Rather, it's backed by an online distributed database known as the blockchain. Crypto can be sent back and forth without a middleman. Its total value has grown in the last decade, and it's currently worth nearly $2 trillion. Those who think you should own it are quick to point out inflation in the US just reached a 40-year high, while the value of the dollar continues to decrease year after year.
The point is, life is getting more expensive. Sitting in dollars presents challenges. So people are looking for other vehicles to store their wealth.
Denver 7 is going 360, exploring crypto's growing popularity in Colorado and why the state is racing to become the nation's most crypto-friendly state. We show you why some are raising the red flag, while others are giving it the green light.
It's really about a new paradigm.
Starting with one of crypto's biggest advocates, Governor Jared Polis.
In Colorado, we've been laying the groundwork to be a center of crypto innovation and blockchain innovation for a number of years.
And now the time is here.
Colorado will become the first state to accept cryptocurrencies for payment of state taxes and fees.
That will be an option for the entire state beginning this summer, but how will that work exactly?
Cryptocurrency does have volatility. We look at minimizing risk to the state.
Mark Ferrandino is the executive director of Colorado's Department of Revenue.
Someone who would want to pay their taxes through cryptocurrency would go to an exchange, facilitate that payment through the exchange, and then that exchange would convert the cryptocurrency into cash, and then that cash would come into the state.
But is this really about a more convenient way to pay taxes? Those already invested in cryptocurrency will tell you the state's plan goes much further.
You are now selling a product. You're selling your jurisdiction. You are selling it to entrepreneurs and capital and innovators so that they can build businesses there and impact the economy in a positive way.
Jarrett Abraham is a director of corporate development at Salt, a Colorado-based company that allows people to put up cryptocurrency as collateral in exchange for a loan.
Let's say you're looking at $1 million property and you want to put 10% down. A really quick and easy way to get liquidity would be to come to someone like us.
After all, confidence grows for an innovative business like this when state government supports the same approach.
This next wave of innovation will bring even more talent, more capital, more jobs, and everyone's fighting for that.
But not everyone is sold on the idea.
It's really a buyer beware type of Wild West out there right now.
Todd Phillips is the director of financial regulation at the Center for American Progress.
Investors need to be very wary of what they invest their money in. Right now, there are very, very little consumer and investor protections, unlike in the stock market.
Phillips also points out that the race to become the nation's most crypto-friendly state is also a race for scammers to take advantage.
The crypto market is just rife with all of these scams and abuses.
From market manipulation and fraud to adding new twists to old scams using crypto, the FBI says the losses are in the hundreds of millions last year alone. Some, like Denver resident Steve Belcher, lost everything.
It's so well put together.
Belcher thought he was investing in Bitcoin on a legitimate exchange that ended up being a big fraud. His life savings of $1.6 million all gone.
It's devastating. I mean, emotionally, physically, there was days that I didn't want to get out of bed.
The likelihood of getting money back in these types of scams are slim to none.
We are still at the very frontier of trying to understand how to investigate scams, how to figure out who is behind the scams, and how to get people their money back.
Consider the creation of the internet in the late 80s and 90s. Understanding how to efficiently and effectively enforce law in that space didn't happen overnight. Until we get there with crypto, both supporters and opponents agree, proceed with caution and don't invest what you're not comfortable losing. Bayan Wang, Denver 7.